Speaking of absurdities, there is a segment of the American population that is absolutely okay with Russian involvement in our campaigns. There's a study that came out from the Yahoo Finance Survey Monkey Poll, and I want to pull that quote up on your screen so that I can just give it to you in their own words. A Yahoo Finance Survey Monkey Poll released Tuesday finds that 11% of Republicans or GOP leaning Americans surveyed said that it is appropriate, that's right, appropriate for Russia to try to help Republicans, while 29% said that it's not appropriate, but it wouldn't be a big deal. So about 40% of Republicans have no problem whatsoever. It might be significant, but it's not a big deal. It might be an issue or not appropriate, but it's not a big deal. 40% of Republicans are okay with Russians involving themselves in our elections. Now, and when I say Russians involving themselves in our elections, I don't mean this overly simplified communist red scare that's going on in some in Democratic circles. I'm talking about Russians literally involving themselves and possibly turning the results of an election in favor of someone who is a fascist-leaning, aspiring dictator. And you have Republicans who say, "Nah, it's no big deal. No big deal." As shocking as that is, this next quote is a little more shocking to me. Pull it up on the screen. It says this: on the Democratic side, 14% of Democrats said it would either be appropriate or wouldn't be a big deal for Russia to intervene. 86% called it not appropriate and major for Russians to try to help Democrats. Now, mind you, 86% is a huge, overwhelming majority. But I'm sorry, who the hell are these 14% of Democrats who say that it's no big deal or appropriate for Russia to involve themselves in our elections? This makes no sense to me. I really want to know who these Democrats are. Like, where do you, not only where do you live, but who are you? What do you actually stand for? What do you even care about? If you don't care about a foreign nation flipping our elections, possibly flipping our elections, what do you even care about? I mean, I don't. I'm not even sure if these people actually exist. Maybe that's a statistical error. I don't know. But the point is that somewhere in this country, and particularly in the conservative circles, there's a large group of people who see absolutely nothing wrong with Russia. And here's the reality underneath it. The reality underneath it is that they don't care because it gave them Donald Trump. Potentially, the investigation is still ongoing. You can make that call for yourself. But they don't care because it worked out in their favor. And that shows you the extent of the hyperpartisanship that exists in this country. That they have no qualm whatsoever with a foreign government potentially involving themselves in our election process, so much so that they could have given us Donald Trump. They don't care so long as their side won. That shows you that their allegiance is not to the United States of America. All these overtures of patriotism, all these overtures of you better stand for the flag, NFL players, all of their concerns about, the red, white, and blue and respecting our country and respecting our veterans. But when it comes down to it, they are more concerned with their party than any sense of nationalism, any sense of patriotism. They are more committed to their political party. In other words, let me flip the statement. In other words, they're willing to betray this country in order to maintain political power. So when it comes down to this whole question of who loves America more, which is a ridiculous question in the first place, but let's operate within that premise. Let's operate within that framework. Who loves the country more? People who have no concern about a foreign government involving themselves in our election, or people who take a knee during the pledge in order to protest systemic violence against black people in this country? Who loves this country more? I don't even have to finish the question because you already know the answer.
Today's program brought to you in part by Blinkist.com/Pakman. Blinkist is a great service that I use all the time. What they do is they take thousands of the most popular nonfiction books, including the newest bestsellers. They condense them into 15-minute audiobooks that you can listen to, and you still get the most crucial information and insights from each book. And I've listened to a ton of books on Blinkist. I recently checked out Soccernomics by Simon Cooper. We do have, after all, the World Cup going on recently. We also have been talking about BS Jobs, and there is a great new book, BS Jobs by David Graeber, which I listen to on Blinkist. They're constantly adding new books to the platform. You will never run out of fascinating and critically acclaimed books to enjoy. And our audience can get a 7-day free trial by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm putting a link in the video description. And after the free trial, if you like it, you can continue enjoying thousands of condensed audiobooks for about $5 a month. That's BLINKIST.com/PAKMAN.